Hey, man.
What's up? I had something in my contact.
You wear contacts?
You didn't know that?
No, you always made fun of me for wearing contacts. How long have you worn contacts?
Since 8th grade. There's no way I made fun of you for wearing contacts. I'm like, you idiot for wearing contacts. You can't have strong, natural eyesight like me. I have not made fun of you.
Like, I have 20/20 vision. You don't. You suck.
I've never said that.
You can't see.
What?
I swear.
No. Are you thinking of someone else?
No.
You think that I was trying to pass off my contact wearing eyes for just like, this is natural.
I think this is a Mandela effect.
Yeah, this is definitely like a Berenstein eyes kind of situation, you know? Because there's no way I made fun of you for that.
Yeah, you never wore contacts.
There's so many other things to make fun of you for. I don't know why I would choose contacts. There's just a whole other list, you know?
Yeah, you don't. You never wore. I don't buy it. Jaron never wore contacts. This is a lie.
Jaron doesn't have eyes.
Anyway,
and if you listen to the podcast version, you don't know that. You know, if you listen to the audio, you know.
There's just skin where his eyes should be.
Yep, there's not even eye sockets. My
forehead.
skull doesn't have eye sockets. It's just a flat, there's a nose sticking out for some reason, you know? And it's just a flat landscape of a face, you know? It's pretty gruesome to look at.
Yeah,
I guess.
terrifying.
I would assume. I don't know.
I don't know what things
I don't know
look
what
like.
it looks like. So I don't know what things look like. But I will say, as a non-eye having person, I did make fun of Tim for wearing contacts. I was like, you idiot. How poor is your vision? And he was like, I have eyes. You know? At one point, I did try to shove 2 pickles just straight into my face. I was like, I heard this worked somewhere. I got pickles for eyes.
It's going to be a medical manual, get this, for Canadian lumberjacks.
Well, by God, that thigh's got a screw in it. Best night of my life. I know that it doesn't sound like it. What if, hold on, what if you imposter the imposter? Things I learned last night. TILLN it. Anyway,
for our listeners, I just need to let it be known that a couple days ago, Jaron and I had a conversation because our Eels episode got really big.
Oh, yeah,
out of nowhere.
100%, yeah.
And we were like, yeah, it took us forever to talk about the content in that episode.
Yeah, and we keep doing bits at the beginning, you know? So if you're here, I don't know what this topic is, but if you've Googled it, you're just very interested in...
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned what we're talking about yet.
Yeah, and then you've made it this far. You've probably skipped a lot, but you've made it this far. I
have no eyes.
Man, I'm sorry. Yeah, welcome to the show. Tim has eyes.
So, have you heard of Ferdinand Waldo Demara?
Hold on.
Ferdinand Waldo Demara.
Ferdinand Waldo
Yeah.
Demara.
Demara. Yeah, feminine.
Okay.
It's not it's an A, so it's feminine.
Is that okay?
It's linguistics.
So, no, I haven't heard of any of this.
So he is, as Wikipedia calls him, an American imposter, known for impersonating other people.
Yeah. Is this Frank Caliendo's real name? Is that?
Bro.
Wait, does he like does he imposter and steal money and stuff?
No, I think it's a hobby. Honestly.
Oh, he's a what do you even call that person?
An imposter.
No. I wouldn't.
A confidence trickster.
No. I mean, like, okay, but I'm saying, like, does he imposter to take money?
No.
Or to like trick people?
I think.
Or is it an act where he's like, I can do these voices? You know?
It's not an act. What kind of is an act? But it's not really an act. Honestly, I think he's just addicted to seeing how far he can convince people that he's somebody else.
Yeah, like how you try to convince people that Emma Stone is your brother.
Cousin. Brother? Cousin. She is my cousin. We're cousins.
Yeah, if you say it enough.
Yeah.
She is my cousin. We're cousins.
Look her up. Emma Stone, Tim Stone. Emma Stone, from Phoenix, Arizona. Tim Stone's lineage is from Phoenix, Arizona. You don't have to dig that deep to be like,
I mean,
yeah,
her
they're
Wikipedia
cousins.
page says it.
Yeah, her Wikipedia page literally says family, Tim Stone, co-host of Things Out on the Side.
You
podcast.
have 5 weeks to make that happen.
I realized that. I'm going to add it to infinity.
Let me just go into our back end here and add a little show note.
I'm literally adding that to her.
Yeah, got to try to figure that out. Also, can we cut this part out to make it just look smooth, or leave it in so people can get a behind the scenes look? You know how you can get a behind the scenes look? Tuesday. That's right. That's when new episodes drop on Patreon. Patreon's a way to get early access to episodes and other content and exclusive merchandise. And we're not going to stop there because we got a private Discord with our hosts and producers in it for less than 17 cents a day. That's right. That's $5 a month. You too can be a Patreon supporter and not hear advertisements in this freaking podcast anymore. Text TILLN to 66866. Otherwise, I'll come to your house. I will find you. I will destroy everything that's good in your life until we're the only thing left. Anyway, here's another advertisement. So fettuccine Alfredo.
Ferdinand Waldo Demara, very close.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Here's what this guy did. It's incredible. I'm gonna start from the beginning of the story. I don't want to bury.
Is it
I'm
like a
bury
catch
the
me
lead.
if you can kind of thing, where
Almost.
he's just like, I just want to see how far I can get?
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna tell you. A lot of times I tell you his accomplishments and then we go down the story. I'm just
Sure.
gonna tell you the story because it just goes. So I think it all began when he was about 13 years old. This guy was born in 1921. So this is the early 30s. His family was pretty well off until the Great Depression, and then they had to move to a much poorer neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I think for Ferdinand, one of his problems he always struggled with was he just got bored really easily. He had a photographic memory. He was very intelligent, but he couldn't keep his attention on one thing for very long.
Okay.
And I think especially after his family moved to this poorer neighborhood, he didn't know what to do for fun. Until one day, they lived in Massachusetts. He managed to get his hands on a couple mannequin legs. And so he goes out.
They moved to Massachusetts, and wouldn't you believe it, just everywhere in Massachusetts is just Massachusetts mannequins and their legs. What happened to the torso and arms?
I have no idea what happened.
He just grabbed the legs.
Got the legs. He somehow got the legs. And there was a big snowstorm, and so he just stuck them out the snowdrift on this busy highway.
That's fun.
And
That's
just
fun.
hung out watching people swerve off the highway and pull these
Big fan.
legs out
Big
of the
fan of
snowdrift.
this guy. I am, again, in awe. I go, wow, this guy really nailed it. That's hilarious. He did that with 13?
Yeah, he did
That's
it
a
at 13.
prodigy. That's a prodigy right there. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
funny.
So he did that. 3 years later, he's 16. He's in high school. And he's like, man, this school stuff, really boring. Not into it.
Yeah. Doesn't give me the high
Yeah.
that watching people freak out over mannequin legs did.
he's like,
He's been chasing that his whole life, you know? He's sitting there in 8th grade.
To that moment.
He's in 8th grade and he's just like at his desk, just like, oh my God. Zoning out in class, just like looking at the front of the class, just imagining the mannequin legs. And like not even in a creepy way. Not in like,
Not like a
not
weird-
in like a, I have mannequin
not
legs
a
and I
Christmas
use
Story
them for
way,
weird stuff.
But like yeah.
But like man, that was my moment. Or he's just like in his head, he's like, did I peak at 13? You know?
He's at homecoming freshman year. And
Wins,
she's like, you just
wins
seem
homecoming
absent.
king. I mean, he has high school accomplishments. He's the quarterback of the football team, right? He's the prom king. Graduates top of his class,
Everyone's
and
just
still
like, your head's not in it.
None of it is like he's just like, yeah, I'll tell you what my head is in.
A snowdrift.
It's a snowdrift in Massachusetts. That's what his memoir is called.
I was going to say Snowdrift in Massachusetts. It's a 2003 emo album.
Yeah, I love it. A snowdrift in Massachusetts.
So he's 16 and he just gets tired of school. And he says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run away.
He said that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run.
It's what is this? The early 40s? Yeah.
What is this? A classic movie where he's just like, you know what I'm going to do? You see that open road? I'm going to walk and I'm going to keep walking.
I'm not going to stop till I get where I'm going.
And I'll know when I get there. I don't know where it is now, but I'll know when I get there. So at 16, he runs away from the house.
He runs away from home at 16.
Did he take the legs?
Runs to Rhode Island. I only hope.
He's using it. You know, in all those like things where they got the stick and that bag on the end of the stick, he's just got a mannequin leg and a bag hanging off the ankle of it. And he's just walking down the road, thumb up, trying to get a ride.
Guys like driving down the highway. It's the late 30s. Driving down the highway in Rhode Island.
Do they have highways?
And he's like, Cindy Lou, does that boy have a leg? Is that a leg he's got over?
Well, don't worry about him, Don. Just keep driving.
There's a screw sticking out of that thigh. What did he do to that woman?
There's a screw sticking out of that thigh. Well, by God, that thigh's got a screw in it. Cindy Lou, my eyes have never seen such a thing. I know that you're blind and don't have any, but let me try to explain it.
That boy must have a screw loose, but there ain't a screw loose in that thigh.
Oh my gosh.
So he runs away to Rhode Island, and he lies his way into a monastery and becomes a silent monk. Convinces them he's older than he is.
This is the plot of The Good Place, though, where he's just like, where you just like the easiest way to get away with something is just to not say anything.
Yeah, so he lies his way into this monastery, becomes a monk, but it's a silent monastery. There's silent monks, and he stayed there for a few years, but he eventually gets kicked out for lying, which is ironic because to lie, you have to be not silent.
Well, they can write stuff.
I mean, I guess so. So yeah, he broke the rules. They kicked him out. And so then he's like, well, I'll join the army. So in 41, he joins the U.S. Army.
The perfect time to join, I think.
Yeah, great year to get into the army.
To jump on in, you know?
He joins the army and really quickly realizes, not a fan of this.
Yeah, but he joined the army legitimately. He didn't just show up to camp and was like...
Yeah, he like legitimately enlisted. And then while he was there, his tent mate, Anthony Ignolia, he created a pretty good relationship with him, got to know him really well, and then realized, not a fan of the army, so I am now Anthony Ignolia, and I am going AWOL. And so he just ditched the army.
But what happened to the real Anthony Ignolia?
He stayed. So he ditches the army, goes to Canada, and joins the Canadian Navy.
He's like, I didn't like the American army. You know what I'd like? A different army. It was the American part I didn't like.
And he becomes a hospital corpsman.
As Anthony Ignolia?
Yeah. So now he's Anthony Ignolia.
Ignolia.
And just took on his personality, took on his like fake paperwork, pretending to be him. Becomes a hospital corpsman.
I say this every time we tell these stories. I wish that I lived in that time era where you could just start over.
Yep.
You could just go somewhere and be like, this is who I am.
This is me. I'm this guy.
This is real. This is me. I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. Yeah.
All right. So
shine on me.
So he became a hospital corpsman.
Oh, you're mad that I sing songs.
I'm mad that you sing that song.
Oh, that's fair. Go ahead.
So he becomes this hospital corpsman, but he's like a medical assistant. He's not like actually doing much, but he's assisting.
He's not a doc. Did he pretend to be a doctor?
So he's just assisting.
Yeah, I can hear it in your pace of your voice. You're like, oh man, this guy. Yeah, okay, here we go.
But he never got to the position he wanted in the Navy. So he
Which was?
I don't know.
President of Canada.
President of the Navy.
Yeah, I can work my way. I'm the Emperor of the Canadian Navy.
He fakes a suicide.
Oh my gosh.
And borrows another name, Robert Linton French, who is another real person. He's a doctor who I don't.
Dr. French?
Yeah, Dr. French. And he goes and he manages to get all of French's paperwork. So his birth certificate, his PhD, like all of his paperwork, just gets his hands on it.
What, do you just steal it, or he goes?
I don't know how he did that.
Just goes in the office and is like,
hey, I'm Robert French. Could I get his license and his PhD?
I'm sorry, his?
And
my license and my PhD, please.
So yeah, I don't know how he does it, but somehow he pulls off getting all of his paperwork, like his legal identifying paperwork. And he moves to Erie, Pennsylvania, and gets a job teaching psychology and ethics at Gannon College.
Love that.
Which
Love
is
that
so
he's an ethics teacher. Yeah. So it seems like he's working his way through the Good Place cast right now, right? Because at first he was Jason as the silent monk. Now he's Chidi teaching ethics.
Yep. And so he actually stays here for a while until eventually he
got bored.
Moves to Los Angeles, takes on some other identity.
Why did you say it like that?
Say it like what?
Los Angeles.
I don't know.
He moved to Los Angeles.
Moved to Los
Angeles.
Angeles.
Oh my God.
And he becomes an orderly at the LA Sanitarium.
What does any of those words you just said mean?
I'm going to be honest, I'm not positive.
An orderly at the LA Sanitarium?
Yeah, so the sanitarium was the cleanest place in LA. No, it's a medical facility for long-term illness.
Oh, okay.
So they typically treated tuberculosis for antibiotics. An orderly, I'm pretty sure, is kind of like a nurse. An attendant at a hospital responsible for non-medical care of patients and the maintenance and order of cleanliness. So yeah, it was the cleanest.
Yeah, he just came and cleaned like the bedpans and stuff.
I don't know. I think he was like kind of like a nurse.
He was
but
like, guys,
quite.
I'm overqualified for this. What was his name at this point?
I don't know. He took on another identity. It's hard to keep track of all the identities that he took on.
Sure.
Because he took on so many.
It's crazy that's the other thing too, is that he has to keep track of those things.
Yeah.
You know, like in his head, when he's in Pennsylvania, he's got to be Dr. French, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know how he kept up with it. But yeah, so he's in LA, and then he also was... I don't know how he did this, but he was like commuting back and forth between shifts. So he would do some time in LA at the sanitarium, and then he would drive up to Washington and teach classes at St. Martin's College.
As Dr. French?
I think as whoever his orderly personality was. So he was like some like adjunct nursing professor or something like that.
More like adjunct, right?
But someone in one of those jobs
was like
kind of got wind to something's fishy here and alerted the authorities. The FBI starts keeping tabs on him and figures out, oh, hey, this is that guy who deserted the army back in 1941.
How do they track that down?
I don't know, but they ended up
I feel like we skipped
him.
a lot of stuff there.
I don't know how they pinned him for that, but they ended up arresting him and giving him 6 years in prison for military desertion.
Yeah.
He ends up only serving 18 months and gets out on good behavior. And after his release, he gets
out because he impersonated a guard, right? And he was like, "Guys, it's me, Guard Bernard." and they were like,
Do you know Bernard?
Do you know?
I mean, it's
I
a pretty
guess
big
so.
prison.
I don't know how you ended up on that side of the.
Yeah,
let's get you out of there, Guard Bernard.
Classic, keys and
I tried to,
mannequin legs,
Still has the mannequin legs. This whole
Never put him down.
That's how the FBI got him. They were like, "You have two mannequin legs." We saw a guy deserting the military, and all he took was two mannequin legs.
Yeah. So he gets out of prison, and he's like, "I think I'll try being a monk again." So he does that. Again, he joins the Brothers Christian Instruction in Maine, which is a Roman Catholic order. And things go well there, gets bored, moves back across the country and assumes a new fake identity and studies law at Northeastern University.
Okay.
Realizes halfway through the program that he's like, I don't need to get the degree. I'm just going to fake one.
Oh, yeah. He was like, what am I doing?
He's like, why am I going to school?
I am a doctor. I am a military monk doctor. I'm an orderly military monk doctor. I don't
Very
need
clean.
to do any of this.
So he starts teaching law, and while he's teaching law, a Canadian surgeon moves into the same school he's
starts
teaching
it.
Yeah, he finds some university. He's like, hey, I'm a law professor.
And they're like,
okay.
All right, cool.
You can teach this class.
We have an empty law classroom that you can just walk on in. There's actually a class in there right now. No professor.
Waiting for a lawyer.
So
come
we've
teach
been,
you.
hold on. Hello? You're a what? No way. I was just praying for a new law professor. There's a class waiting for you right now.
Yeah.
Like, go.
Our last law professor just got arrested for impersonating a law professor.
And here I was praying about what to do now. And here you are.
And here you come, ready to teach law.
That's 4 in a row that have just lied. Anyway, what's your salary that you need?
Yeah.
That's pretty big, but
That's pretty high, but we need
based on the resume that you wrote it by hand, I will pay you that.
So Canadian surgeon
Again,
moves-
this is the era of world that I miss.
Yeah.
Is that people just trusted each other.
Yep, they just believed each other. So a Canadian surgeon named Joseph Sir moves to a school to teach at his school. So he's near the twilight of his career or something. And he's moving to America.
Or something. I don't know.
He's moving to America, so he needs help with his paperwork. So he asks his new friend, Ferdinand, to help him get his
And
paperwork.
he was like, oh, I will
Ferdinand's
do
like,
that.
I will gladly help you.
Yeah.
And so Ferdinand just
Takes that.
copies
advice,
all his documents
for sure.
and moves to Canada and opens up a practice as Ferdinand Sir, the surgeon. And then
So now he's a surgeon.
never really does anything in Canada
He's
because
like, yeah,
pretty
I
much
can't.
immediately
Yeah.
the Korean War breaks out.
Oh, okay.
And so he says,
I thought you were going to say pretty much immediately a patient came in, he had the tools and sat there and was like, you're going to need to see a specialist about this one. Like how,
yeah, you should see us.
how long can you push off
long
the
can you just
not
not do
surgery?
surgery?
Yeah.
So he says, hey, I got Navy experience. I'm going to join the Canadian Navy. And so he joins the Navy again. And he's on base.
So he quits the practice as a
Quits
surgeon.
the practice, goes on base, and
He's like, of course. He's like, guys, I know how to amputate things. Look at this leg.
Look at this.
You think
I got two.
You think that screw put itself there? There's a screw in that thigh.
And so here's where he's at. He's been an orderly. He was a Navy corpsman.
Yeah.
And so he's got a little bit of experience around the medical field. He's got a bit of an idea of how a lot of things work, but he's never done it. So while he's on base waiting to be shipped out, he makes friends with all the other Navy surgeons.
Yeah.
And
he's kind of like, you guys want to compare notes?
no, better. He tells all the other Navy corpsmen that he's working on a book. And what it's going to be
Oh my
is
gosh.
it's going to be a medical manual, get this, for Canadian lumberjacks. So that way when they're out in the field, if they get injured, they can perform field surgery on each other.
Can you just write step by step?
Yeah, and so he just goes to each of his other Navy surgeons, and he's like, hey, why don't you do one on amputation? Why don't you do one on this kind of like, and just gets them all to write how to do these different surgeries. And he's saying he's writing parts too, but he's not writing anything.
That's honestly, I mean, you got to respect it is the thing. That's brilliant.
He's a genius. So he gets shipped out, right? And he's got his lumberjack book.
He's like, and you got to make it easy enough for some dumb lumberjack to read, you know?
Exactly.
He's like, don't use words like that. The lumberjacks don't know.
The lumberjack won't know.
Yeah.
So he gets shipped out, and he has an assistant, a medical assistant. He's the surgeon on board his destroyer, his Canadian destroyer, but he has a medical assistant. And so he tells his medical assistant, he says, hey,
I want to train you up.
He says, this is a perfect opportunity for you to get some real world experience. And so he says, you're going to do everything. I'm just going to offer my opinion.
I'm going to observe.
Yeah. And so the medical assistant does everything on board the ship.
I hate him.
Until they get to Korea. And when they get to Korea, two important things happen. First, one of the naval officers on board the ship needs to have one of his teeth removed. And so Ferdinand stalls him for a minute and consults his lumberjack book and then welcomes him into the room and removes his tooth successfully. And so the naval officer is now none the wiser. He's like, yeah, he's a real surgeon. He removed my tooth. Everything went great. Everything was fine.
Yeah, all he did was, just tied a little string around the anchor. And when we dropped anchor, that sucker just popped right out, you know?
Yeah, so he
real surgeon.
He pulled a tooth. Biggest procedure he had ever done in his life, right? Well, they get to Korea, and aboard the ship comes a group of Korean militants that needed medical attention. And he was able to offload a lot of the work to his assistant, except for one who had a bullet lodged in his chest near his heart. And he was tasked with performing the removal. And he
was like, let me consult this lumberjack book.
So he does the same thing. He stalls for a minute, he consults the lumberjack book.
Pulls out a full axe. All right? That's all the tools they got in the
woods.
Full
chainsaw.
He's I want to get this bullet out of your heart.
So he literally just wings it, and he does it, and it was successful, and he saved this guy's life. And it was such a phenomenal story.
Why isn't the guy dead?
There were naval officers there.
This guy can take teeth and bullets out of your body.
There was naval officers in attendance watching it because it was such a big deal, because it was like not one of our militants. He was performing the surgery. It was a life-saving surgery. Saved his life. Everybody witnessed it. The naval officer wrote home about it because they were like, this guy needs a commendation. Like, he saved someone's life. He ends up in the paper. They take pictures of him on the ship, put it in the paper. It's all over Canada, right? This guy saves Korean militant's life. But then Joseph Sir's mom reads the paper,
obviously,
and says, that's not my son.
Well, the Navy took a toll on me, Mom. And so that was the danger of war stuff, was war stuff. The danger was like, because people did long distance relationships. They wrote letters back and forth. You just kept a picture in your wallet, and you were like, this is what she looks like. Yeah. She may not look like that when you get home from war, my guy.
Gonna look different.
Yeah. She may have had to have surgery to get all her teeth out, and you go home to, Gummy Gale. All right, and she's like, hey, welcome home from war. And you're like, you don't look like the picture anymore.
You look nothing
That's not my girlfriend. And she's like, war took a toll, So
I'm not your girlfriend, now I'm your gum friend.
Well, what if, is there a way for him to convince the mom? Like, Mom, like, me.
Mom, it's me.
Guys, I'm so sorry. She's suffering from...
Opens up the book. The lumberjacks call it.
The lumberjacks call it dementia. That's what she's got, I think.
I don't know. That's what the lumberjacks call it.
Mom, it's your boy.
Joey.
It's ya boy.
Have you heard of TILLN podcast merch? That's right. We have a merch store full of TILLN brand tees, hoodies, mugs, and so much more. We also make new designs for every single episode, but those are only available for a limited time, so get them while they're hot. Text TILLN to 66866 to get your TILLN merch today. So she calls the Navy.
Yeah.
And the Navy says...
What do you call 1-800-NAVY?
No, she called the general. And so she calls the Navy, and the Navy's like, okay, hold on a second. You're telling me that this is just some random guy who performed surgery on some other nation's soldier. And they were like, don't let anybody find out about this.
Hey,
and they...
Mrs. Sir. That's her name. I don't know why you're laughing at that. That's her name. Mrs. Sir, please shut up. Please quietly walk into the sun. How about that? How about that? How about you go away? You know that? We'll pay you to never speak again. Actually, we're going to have Joseph Sir remove your vocal cords. Okay? You can never tell anyone.
So the Navy is like,
the Navy's like, hey.
The Navy comes to him and is like, hey, so we're hearing these reports that you're not who you say you are.
Sir. He's knighted at this point. He got knighted. Sir. We've got some reports that you're not who you say you are. And he was like, you got me. He's like, I don't like oatmeal, right? Yeah. I lied yesterday at breakfast. And, it's bigger than that? Okay. Oh. Well, what are you going to do now? I got your teeth. Like, give her the nose. I got your teeth.
The naval officer was like, sir, we've got some reports that you're not who you say you are. And Ferdinand was like, who do you say I am?
Oh, my God. I am.
So they just say, hey, look, let's just keep this quiet. Let's just ship you back to America, and let's just pretend none of this ever happened. We don't want.
He's like, can I keep this medal you gave me, though? No, you have to give it back.
They're like, no, but you can keep the tooth and the bullet. And so he's got
him in a trophy.
2 mannequin legs, his tooth, and the bullet.
What's in your hand there? Nothing.
Oh, it's just a bullet and a tooth.
Just
in that order.
In that order. That's some serial killer stuff, though.
Yeah. So while he's back in America, he's obviously got to try to get back into doing imposterism.
Impostering. He's obviously got to get back to, pretend.
So he tries to become a monk again, does that for a couple years, gets bored, and then says, you know what I'm going to do?
How old is he at this point? He's been doing this stuff several years.
This is 1951.
This is all like in his 30s?
Yeah. So he's doing like 1 to 2 year schemes here. Like these are quick schemes, and then he's on to the next thing. So somewhere between 51 and 59, I'm not exactly sure the year, he says, you know what? I'm going to start a Christian college. And so he opens up the Christian Brothers of Instruction.
Shut up.
And he made this religious teaching order.
I thought you were literally about to tell me, because in the 50s, do you know what college was established?
Evangel.
I thought you were about to go.
Gosh, that would have been incredible.
He started the school called Evangel University. I was going to be like, hold on.
That would have been incredible. But that didn't happen. So he started the college, got it chartered by the state.
Where at?
In Maine.
Oh, okay.
And then he was really offended because the Christian Brothers...
Well, honestly, he should have gone the Christian route to begin with, because you can get some pretty prominent positions with 0 qualifications.
It's true. And so the Christian Brothers of Instruction was
That's why I did Christian comedy.
You're like, yeah, I'm not a comedian.
No, I said I was a comedian, but they're just like, okay. Whereas comedy clubs were like, not yet.
Who are you?
And then the churches were like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good.
Great. Come perform for our youth. We will literally not vet anything you say.
Yeah. How much do you want to get paid?
Well, I guess I haven't even thought about that. You know?
I didn't think about getting paid. So he took the Christian Brothers of Instruction wasn't already an organization.
Yeah.
He took them, got them organized into a college. But then when that happened and he accomplished all of it with the state, he was really offended because he wanted to be named the chancellor of the college or the rector of the college. Those were the two titles he wanted. They didn't give it to him.
Okay. Did they give him a title?
What?
Did they give him
No,
a title?
They didn't give him anything.
They were just like, thanks.
Thanks. Sorry. And so he then said, you guys picked an awful name for this college, the Christian Brothers of Instruction. And he just left. And he's like, I'm mad.
That's what he left with an insult?
Yeah.
Your name's stupid. Yeah, I didn't like it anyway. I didn't want to be here anyway.
And so.
And then at night, he's just looking at the pamphlet to join the college, crying in his apartment.
After he left, the college moved to Canton, Ohio, and reorganized as Walsh University, which is now actually
still a school.
Still a school. They have about 2,000 undergraduates and 600.
So it's about the size of Evangel.
Yeah, about the size of Evangel. So if you went to Walsh University,
your life's a scam.
This guy made it up. Your college is made up.
I mean, they all are.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so.
You know, at some point, someone was like, we should start a college. They're all made up.
You know what we could make up right now? Are we going to make a TILLN University?
No, we've got so many things. We've got Vigilante Valley, right?
Yeah, we should just. How hard is it to get accredited?
Do you want to make like a TILLN online course?
I bet we could.
TILLN night school?
I bet we could get accredited. We're going to get you an associate's degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we can charge tuition.
We'll have Christian look into it. Send him an email.
Speaking of tuition.
Yeah.
We have a Patreon. For $5 a month, that's your tuition to TILLN University.
How many times did you get a shout out Patreon in this episode?
I only did it twice. I didn't really do it the first time. We can cut the first time out.
Great.
We can cut that time out too. We can actually just. We don't have to put an episode out.
Speaking of putting episodes out, next week we're putting out a pretty big episode.
Yeah, we haven't filmed it yet because we
filmed it a couple days ago.
Well, how does shows work? Do we pretend we've already filmed it? Because we haven't yet.
But we could act like it.
Okay, let's try that.
That's sweet.
Smashing success this weekend.
Yeah,
all
Saturday night.
14 people in the audience. Thank you so much.
We've sold 25 tickets already. So.
Yeah, but half of them are going to show, right? You know, and your wife's not going to be there, so that's 14, right? So
it was awesome.
All 14 people. Yeah, is this what we do? We pretend.
Yeah.
Okay. This
is the Imposter episode.
Anyway, the live. We recorded a live show. By the time you're hearing this, we will have recorded a live show, and it comes out
that episode.
That episode comes out next Tuesday.
So don't miss it.
Set a little reminder in your syllabus at TILLN University. I don't know. Like I was putting it in the calendar, the syllabus.
Yeah.
Put a little reminder somewhere, and remember to check out if you watched it online or whatever.
Yeah, if you were there, thanks for coming out. And you'll maybe hear your laugh in the background.
If you were there, thank you so much. We had a blast. Honestly,
it was great. Thank you.
Best night of my life. I know that it doesn't sound like it because I have no experience to pull from right now. So
after the whole...
My name is Ferdinand.
So after the whole Walsh University incident, Ferdinand is in a weird spot.
Okay.
Because he got kind of famous with the whole Navy thing. So his picture's been all over the place.
Yeah. But he's trying to be.
But the Navy tried to keep it on wraps. But there's a
Yeah.
little bit of like a thread that's like kind of leaking out there.
Okay.
Well, a reporter at Time figures it out and is like, this guy
Has been lying.
at least about the Navy thing, maybe more. And so they reach out to him and they say, hey, can we buy your story? And he's in some financial hard times. And so he says, you know what? Yeah, sure, whatever. I'll sell my story to Time.
I'll sell you my story, sure.
So he sells his story. They put out an article. They do a photo shoot with him. And like he is the cover story on Life magazine.
Life or Time?
It's the same thing.
It's not.
If you look at the cover of Life, look at the cover of Time, and tell me it's not the same thing. It's the same thing. But anyways, it was Life magazine. I probably said Time, but it's Life.
Was it Relevant or Time? Relevant magazine.
Relevant magazine. I know what you're saying. No, it was Life magazine.
Was it Clubhouse? What's the one that's the Focus on the Family magazine? Anyway.
So he does the magazine, and he's like the centerfold, like all this stuff, right?
He's the centerfold. He's the centerfold of the magazine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they have a full body picture of Ferdinand DeMayo and what I don't know, Waldo
Demara.
Okay. Full like just yeah, did you buy this week's edition of Life magazine? It's not even, and he the whole time he thought it was Life magazine. It's Life cereal. So inside of Life cereal, you pull out this poster of it's an imposter.
It's an imposter poster. I got my imposter poster in my cereal today.
He's the centerfold, is what you said. Oh my gosh. Okay.
And the story goes wild. Everybody loves the story, right? Because he tells all in this story.
Yeah.
It says Life magazine, imposter tells all. That's what it says on the cover.
And then after that comes out, he goes, guys, I lied about that whole article.
None of it was true.
What if you imposter the imposter? What if
wasn't him?
And then another guy comes out and was like, hold on.
That's
I'm Ferdinand Waldo Demara. What are you talking
guy's
about?
taking credit for my surgery.
And that guy's like, you can't prove it. And the guy's like, look what's in my hands. And he holds up a bullet and the teeth. You know?
So he, after that, things start to get a little tough for him. He tries to get another job at a university, goes really far in the interview process, and then someone recognizes him and says, you're the guy from that Life magazine. And he's like, right.
Because he was like, cereal, but yeah.
Because he was using fake credentials again. So then he has to
He walks into an interview room and they have the frame centerfold on the wall.
Like, don't
he
hire
walks
him.
in and he's like, he's like trying to.
He's like doing that thing.
He's
where
like doing that thing where he's like,
at him.
he's trying to sit in front of it. You know, he's like
trying to block it.
just
Sorry,
got an itch on my back.
I just
Sorry.
slept weird
Go
last
ahead.
night,
Yeah,
so I
just
gotta
go
leave
ahead
my
and
hand
with the
up like
questions.
this.
Yeah.
But he actually gets pretty far in the interview process with this university. Doesn't make it because the guy recognizes him, and so ends up working a few short-term jobs like as himself because he's like, I can't do this anymore. Everybody knows me. Things quiet down a little bit, and then he got himself some fake credentials so he could become a guard at a prison in Huntsville, Texas.
Guard Bernard.
Guard Bernard comes to life, and he, having been to prison, kind of has a good idea about how to be a guard.
No.
So he just guards it up for a little while, and then he worked his way onto a game show. Kind of worked his way back into public life.
What game show?
Take a Good Look. So there's it was three celebrity panelists that guess your identity. So this kind of propelled him back into the limelight.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like, oh, this is that guy that like lied about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then Hollywood picks up his story, and they were like, "Hey, you want to play yourself in a movie?"
Was that a question or did they say that? Because it sounded like they said that. Hey, you want to play yourself in a movie is the way you said that. And that's how the Hollywood elites just approach people and they go, you want to do this. And then someone goes, okay.
I want to do
this. That's
like
I got Dennis Quaid to do that baseball movie one time. You remember that? He's like the old dad who became a pitcher or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. And so they gave him a role in a horror film before his movie. They were getting ready. They were putting his movie together. And so they said, hey, let's put you in a small acting role so you can kind of get your feet wet in a movie called The Hypnotic Eye. Apparently.
He showed up and was like, I'm the director.
And
the director was like,
he's like, no, you're
Ferdinand Waldo.
Yeah, he's like, you're an extra in this scene.
And the guy was like, okay.
Okay.
Where do you want to be an extra in this movie?
So, ironically, his role in the film is he's a hospital surgeon in this horror movie. But here's the thing: his acting wasn't great, and so when the movie was in production and they were watching it back,
like,
they said,
"Sucks.
We should hire somebody else."
They
to
were
play
like,
him.
"Wait, hold on. This guy's not good at pretend." What? What are you talking about? His acting's not good. This guy's not great at pretending. What are you talking about?
So they end up casting someone else to be the lead in and play him in his movie, and he gets really mad.
Who do you want to play you?
Well, he didn't like who they chose him to be him because he's like, he looks nothing like me.
And they were like, buddy, it's pretty much the same.
So he gets angry, becomes a drunk for a little while because he's really mad about his failed acting career, and then gets bored with being a drunk.
He's only pretending. Every night he's just drinking water and then like...
I'm an angry drunk.
That's what they do. That's how you know. When you're at a bar and you hear someone say, I am an angry drunk, that's the time to go home. Now, I will say, if you're at a bar and someone legitimately does say that, it is the time to go home. But that's how you know, is that he goes,
I'm an angry drunk.
That's probably why they didn't like his acting stuff, is he was back there doing the Hypnotic Eye movie, and he was like, I'm a surgeon. And they're like, no. People can tell
I'm a real surgeon
from the context clues.
Yeah, he's like, there's no lumberjack books in this operating room.
Because I'm a real boy. And you're like, what?
What are you saying? And like, hey, write that down. I think we can use that.
I think we can use that in a different movie.
So after being a drunk for a little bit, he actually goes to the Union Rescue Mission in downtown LA and becomes a counselor for 7 years. This is one of his longest stints in any of his cons.
Is this a con?
Yeah, he's not a counselor.
He's a consular? Is that what you're saying?
And then in 1967, he says, you know what? It's time for me to do something real for myself. And so he goes to Bible school and gets a legitimate Bible degree in Portland, Oregon from the Multnomah School of the Bible. And he becomes the pastor of Cherry Grove Baptist Church in Gaston, Oregon. But he didn't stay long because rumors started to surface about everything he did in his life. And he
But it's a
resigned from his
testimony at
position.
that point.
Yeah. Let me
like,
tell you about my testimony.
Let me tell you about who I used to be. All right.
I have the teeth and the bullets to show. And they're like, wait, bullets? Teeth? There's just one. So he ends up resigning from that position because they felt that he was conning them again, even though he had actually got a Bible degree and had legitimate credentials this time and was playing himself. I said playing. He was claiming to be himself.
Killing this role, to be honest.
And so then he moved to Toutle, Washington.
Toutle.
And he became the pastor of Toutle Lake Community Bible Church. Was there for a couple years, and then he moved to Friday Harbor, where he worked as a school bus driver. And then
as long as you know how to drive a school bus, you know?
Yeah. Later, he became...
As long as you're not looking at the kids like, all right, you guys are going to have to drive this thing. I'm just going to observe. You know? I'm just here to teach you how to drive a school bus.
But yeah, so he became a hospital chaplain and then kind of lived out the rest of his days discipling people in the hospital and performing minor surgeries. He didn't do that. But eventually he died. And that's...
You can't imposter that, you know?
Yeah.
You can't imposter your way out of death. And that's really the message today is why are you waiting to be authentic? You know? You can't fake your way into a better life.
So he died in 82 of heart failure. And at this point, he had lived a pretty amazing life as a naval surgeon. There was a stint that we didn't talk about where he was a civil engineer. Didn't do a lot, but he was employed.
Built a bridge.
I don't know if you've heard of it, the Brooklyn Bridge.
No, I've actually heard he built the London Bridge.
Yeah.
And that's why it was falling down.
Oh, God. He was a prison guard, a doctor of applied psychology, a hospital orderly, a lawyer, a childcare expert, a Benedictine monk, a Trappist monk. He was an editor at one point, a cancer researcher at another point. He also got a job teaching in an elementary school. And then he also was teaching in the university, started a university, and performed a very successful, or two pretty successful surgeries. One was minor, but really pulled off probably the best prank in Massachusetts history,
which is the snow drapes in the legs. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Which honestly, he's got nothing on Robert Downey Jr., who was a investigative. At one point was a brilliant mastermind of solving crimes, and was also a very rich person who became a superhero.
Yep, and also one of four brothers in Detroit, Michigan, who lost his stepmom or adopted mom and brother and avenged them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also opened up a restaurant with his brother that he didn't really have a part in, but he takes credit in.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't
keep going.
know if I know many more things he's done.
He was a veterinarian who could speak to animals in a movie that didn't do that great.
I think I just realized I am starting to blend Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, you were. I was going with you. You're fine. Yeah. No, I heard you. You're fine. I was letting you do it. Yeah.
And Mark Wahlberg.
No, I know. Yeah. You're good. I was letting you do it, though. I was like, okay. I was like, this guy's, yeah.
They're like the same person.
Yeah.
They are to me, at least.
Right. He was also in The Greatest Showman, you know? We might as well throw Hugh Jackman in there. That's what I'm saying. We might as well just keep going.
Why did I think?
I don't know. I was like, all right, sure.
It was just like, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty incredible life is what you're saying.
Yeah. So he had a book written about him called The Great Imposter, and then another follow-up book called The Rascal in the Road.
I like that title.
Which were like biographies. A couple songs came out about him.
Songs?
Yeah. Anyways, a couple songs came out in dedication to him.
The old imposter faked a life. E-I-E-I-O. That one?
Yeah. So there was an episode of MASH that reenacted his surgery where he was faking the surgery. There was the feature film that he was supposed to be in, but he wasn't in, starring Tony Curtis, which he didn't like that Tony Curtis was him. And then a couple of TV shows, and now he's lives on in infamy.
Wow.
Saved a life, man. Saved a life and took a lot of identities. So
yeah.
Ferdinand Waldo
You know what
Demara.
happened was he had actually gone down to Georgia once to fiddle off the devil, but then at the same time he went, you want to play the fiddle. Right? And then he tried to be the devil, and that's kind of how he died.
Yep. So his final accomplishment
was
he
pretending to be the devil.
The devil.
Yeah. And the devil was just like, I don't know how to play this thing. Like, honestly.
So the devil spent a couple of years learning the fiddle in Georgia.
The devil spent a long time building up a defense against fiddlers.
And Ferdinand went back to
Ferdinand
LA.
went there and was like, you play the fiddle.
Ferdinand went back to LA and he found all the people started trying to become rock stars. And he was like, sell me your soul. It's the 80s. He's like, sell me your soul, I'll make you famous.
Give me your soul.
And he knew the guys in Hollywood because of his movie.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, give me your soul, I'll make a couple phone calls. He painted himself red.
Yeah.
Kicked open doors. Had a fog machine he set out by the door.
You want to give me your soul. What?
Put it here, Bon Jovi. I know you want to be famous.
Bon Jovi. I know that you're Bon Jovi. I know that you just got off set of that movie where you play for the Philadelphia Eagles, Invincible or whatever. I know that you just got off set for that.
I need you real quick. I'll make you famous.
Bon
If
Jovi,
you pour
I know
your soul into this solo cup.
We're halfway there. Come on, we're halfway there.
Come on, give me the
Give me the rest. We're halfway there.
Somebody get a Sharpie so I can label this Bon Jovi.
I don't like this bit.
Is this one mine? No, it says Bon Jovi. What's in this drink?
What's in this drink? Bon Jovi soul. What is that, French?
And he
Are you still gonna go?
he did this for a couple of years.
Wait
And
a
then
minute.
the devil,
Is there a tooth at the bottom of this?
the devil learned fiddle, came to LA, and was like, I figured it out. It's time to take my
The devil rolls into Los Angeles and says, I figured it out. Just walking around like, has anyone seen Ferdinand Waldo? I figured it out.
He might be saying his name's Satan.
Yeah, you might
know
see it
him
because he's painted red. Anyone seen The Red Man?
with a bunch of red solo cups of souls of famous people. I need those
Solo cups. Solo cups. Yeah, actually, he started the Church of Scientology. It's over here. You're gonna love this place.
So the devil tracked him down and fiddled him off.
Oh my god. Hey, thanks for watching Things I Learned Last Night. If you like this video, we have others you can watch, or we have highlights some of our favorite moments from shows. Please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future episodes. And leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week on Things I Learned Last Night.